if you had to guess, you probably don't want to say this number, but if you had to guess, how much money is sitting in that in your servers?
So you mean an entire home lab
Just
without the PCs,
yeah,
right? And
without
just the home lab
just the
itself.
home lab, yeah. Just the hardware costs,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So when I add the numbers for the firewall and switch, which I didn't pay, I would say like 8,000-9,000, somewhere like that. all together, yeah. I would say, yeah. Yeah, you need to say the rack alone costs like 500-600.
Yeah, okay, that's
And
fair.
the NAS, the hard drives, this entire machine costs 3,000. The firewall like 2K, 3K. I think, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just realizing this is crazy. This is just crazy. Yeah.
Well, look.
Yeah, because you start pretty small. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you add another machine. You want to do something different. You add another machine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like
You don't
drop,
buy this all at once.
you didn't drop 10 grand all of a sudden. It's like, hey, I want this
No,
and
no,
I
no,
want
no,
this.
no. I
Then
wouldn't
you
do this.
realize,
Yeah.
oh no, I've just bought a car.
Yeah, but it's really crazy. But I see this as part of my business.
Yeah.
I see this as part of not just for my main job, but also on YouTube. Yeah, it allows me to create videos about all of this stuff, and this is what makes money as well. So I see this as usually expense.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Like, if you're doing this just as like a hobbyist thing, you know that might be a big deal. But if it's going to be used, to whether it's just for the YouTube or whether it's for your like day job, like I think that's when you can start to justify making big expenses like that. It's not an area that I personally have like a deep interest in, but it is something I would like to maybe try out at some point. Like, I've done some, some stuff with the VPS. Like, that's the extent of my messing around with servers. But it would be kind of nice to have something local that I can start like actually just mess around with.
Yeah, I also tell this to people when they ask me always, you don't need a big server to start. Yeah, you can just buy a Raspberry Pi and install Ubuntu server on that and start from there. There's really not so much that you can't do. Maybe you can't do virtual machines. So what I strongly would recommend people to start with a home lab is get an old PC. You probably have something like an old PC somewhere that you don't use anymore. Yeah. Or maybe if you don't, just buy an entry level or a used PC on eBay, right? And install a hypervisor on that, something like Proxmox. Or you can do VMware ESXi or XMPNG. It doesn't really matter. Or you can even use Windows Hyper-V if you want to do that. Just try it out and start using a hypervisor. Then start creating some virtual machines. Test different Linux distros. Yeah, maybe test Windows Server, whatever. But this is the core foundation of how you're gonna start this. And you actually don't need expensive equipment to do it. The stuff that I only got it for a very specific reason, and this is because I use it for work. If this is a hobby, I would never do this. I would never buy such expensive equipment because the current process that I have since I started the YouTube channel, I built this up and I added more and more stuff.
Yeah.
The process that I have now, because we have this big crisis, this energy crisis in Germany, because of the Ukraine war. I don't know if you know what's going on here, but we have really big problems. We have like 6, 7, 8 times higher costs for energy.
Jesus.
And for power, I think the costs have doubled, 2 or 3 times more for power costs than like it was a year ago. It is crazy in Germany. So we currently have a pretty big crisis here. And what I'm currently working on is shrinking my systems a bit down. Thinking about how can I maybe move some productive systems like my DNS server. What I need 24 hours. DNS server needs to be online. How can I move the DNS server maybe to a more efficient machine? Maybe to a Raspberry Pi. So I'm making a video about that, how to get a Raspberry Pi and moving on the Docker containers for my DNS server over to this smaller machine so I can turn off the big server and only run it when I really need it, when I want to play around with Windows Server or virtual machines. Because other rest of the day, this server can be off. So I'm gonna make a video about that as well. So how to optimize the power costs and how to save energy in a home lab, because I think this is a really important topic currently that really interests me, because I think, yeah, how I think about this, right? We all have these problems in the world. Yeah, we have this climatic crisis, we have with global warming, we have the Ukraine war, and we see as our society, our resources, are limited. We need to save resources. We need to change our minds. Yeah, we need to change our ways. And how can I sit here in my office, have this 10 grand home lab running 24 hours for what? Yeah, that's what I want to change. I want to really change that, and I hopefully can make a few inspirational videos how to do that and come up with some ideas, because I think there is a movement, especially in the home lab business or on YouTube, where people are always presenting the next big server machine, the next what else rack server. Oh, I got a new, who knows, 5-6 grand
server.
new powerful server. You see those videos quite often. No one is talking about how can we save that a little bit, or how can we shrink this down. This what I want to do the next couple of months as part of my project in my home lab, and yeah, hopefully use that to make some great videos. And this is always what I say. Yeah, you don't need this big stuff. You can start very small. Yeah, and you can go big as big as you want, but actually the software is the same. The software that's running on a petabyte server is the exact same software that you can install on a small refurbished desktop PC for $100. It's the exact same software. It's not as powerful as that, but you can still learn the technology. You can still learn the processes. And this is what I always tell the people how to start. There's really not much of a difference.